I was impressed with the technology and the equipment, your products in general. Like I was saying, Christopher's face lit up. And remember, I mean, we got the interactive floor, we got the wall unit, and there's different components that went to the wall unit, and the sandbox, and the love drawing, and the interactive table. And when Christopher saw that wall unit, the mobile wall unit, he was really, really excited. And then he wanted to add on some components. And I'm like, I don't know if we can afford all this. And you're like, oh, we'll make it happen, don't worry. And he was just so excited. And when we started using it, he was just so proud. And the unique aspect of your products combines sensory integration with education. My son don't have to have the foundation of knowing how to read or write to get information, to process information, to learn, to grow. Those barriers are coming down, and they are getting the ability to access information. My son, who can't write, Dustin, because of his physical disability, he's the pool noodle to interact with the floor, interactive floor or the wall unit. And, the touchscreen table is amazing for that. Like, you can do speech to text, text to speech. He can touch it and interact with it. There are just so many benefits in all my boys. Like, they all have different needs. They all have different levels, different, abilities, disabilities. And that's where this technology is unique. You're not just getting an education. You're not just getting sensory integration. You're getting it all. And that was something that was very exciting and very important to our family. To see my boys want to learn, before they're like, no, not gonna do it. Their attention span has increased. They stick with the activity longer than 10 minutes. Like, that's huge. Before it'd be like maybe 2-3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But their attention span's growing because they're interacting with it. It's fun, it's exciting. They actually feel successful when they accomplish something. And they want to have that feeling again, so they're gonna wanna do it and keep doing it. So it helps them also not only have, a sense of accomplishment and enjoyment, but, when we start having other families come and have them, there interacting with them, that's going to be great for socialization. And, watching them grow and, hoping to help them reach their full potential as individuals is huge. Not having those barriers to try to, get around, that's a lot. And that means so much to not only my children, but to myself and my husband as parents, that we have access to this technology. We never thought we would be able to. So it's a gift to be able to see our children use this technology and grow and, accomplish the little things, it's simply amazing. So what your company is doing is extraordinary. And as a mother, I really appreciate it, and I really thank you guys for that. Well, like I know with my son, Dustin, who has cerebral palsy, I do range of motion exercises with him, stretches and things like that. And he doesn't like it. But if it was interactive and fun, he'd probably be more cooperating. So there is a lot of value there, but it's not just children. It's individuals as a whole with disabilities, adults along with children, because my sons are 28 to 33 is their age span. So, but yes, they are pretty much and will always be children developmentally. So it's still a challenge because people just see them, they're all grown up, but they still act like children. So it's kind of hard with that. But the more they grow and the more they succeed, and they're able to do simple tasks, the more confident they are and the more they can navigate out in society in the world. And, I was told that was never going to happen. But, thanks to, the forward thinking of people like you and the technology, it's a possibility. And I'm very grateful for that. It will benefit many people because I know it's going to benefit my kids. This technology and your company would go far because there is a need for this. There hasn't been enough emphasis on how to solve these issues, how to help these individuals, these families. And I knew you would go far with this. I told you were onto something, that it would reach a lot of people if it was available. The problem is, until you guys came along, there's nothing out there. Nothing. That I tried everything. Believe me. It was like everything under the kitchen sink. Like, what can I do? Because I didn't want to accept that, my children wouldn't have the opportunity to break down those barriers and, grow. Or that, I had to rely on just medication for my sons, with behaviors and different things like that. So, I believed in, okay, change your environment, change your situation, try to do more therapeutic, natural therapeutic approaches, like sensory integration, animal therapy, sensory stuff. But to combine education with sensory integration, that's brilliant. And it also helps with socialization in these individuals. I had to figure it out on my own. I didn't have a therapist or any medical person, anybody, any specialist tell me how to do this. I did all the research on my own. I kind of had to do it through trial and error. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't cheap. So, now they are having where there's more specialists to address these issues. There's more in-home therapy, where the therapist comes to the home and works with family. Back when my kids were younger, forget it. And they don't have it here because we live in a rural area. There isn't any services. So I'm the one that has to be the therapist, the teacher, all of it, the mom. Yeah, I mean, if there is more accessibility at an affordable price for families, because like I said before, we got our settlement, that's how I was able to afford purchasing the equipment. Most families, they're not gonna be able to.
We thought about it, and if we create this program, like with the government, with the university, we can involve the scholarship, for example,
Right.
insurances, and so on, and we are working on it. Because if we did it by ourselves, like a company,
Yeah.
it's too complicated.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
It is.
But I believe we can do it with can do it because we have really proof and evidence about it.
Well, my family has benefited from it. I so full-heartedly believe that this is a possibility, and I know the benefits that it will, help individuals, help families, help other moms like me that are worried and, don't know what to do or where to turn to get the help that their family needs. I mean, this just even the sandbox is so powerful, with being able to interact with their hands and, the software that projects sound and, especially educational software, learning your ABCs, your shapes, your colors. That's huge. It's interesting how the brain processes information through, visual, audio, tactile. My children learn that way. They don't learn reading out of a book or writing, working in a workbook, worksheets. That doesn't work for them.
Yeah.
So
And what do you think about existing rehabilitation programs?
I think they're lacking in a lot of ways because they don't have the capacity to reach all the senses, which is helping stimulate the brain to process the information that they take in with a lot of individuals with disabilities. And they don't have the means to, make the progress that they do. And they lump everybody into different categories, say, oh, well, this treatment will work. No, you have to look at the individual as an individual, as a whole person. Like, okay, they have different things going on. How do they learn? Are they audio visual or just audio or just visual? Are they a tactile? Do they have sensory issues that prevent them from being able to have the attention span to pay attention, to process the information? Are they, physically challenged? Do they have hearing impairments? Do they have language impairments? Do they have visual impairments? So they look at the major diagnosis. They treat that diagnosis. They don't treat them as an individual. So that's where the rehabilitation methods right now, as today and in the past, has failed, in my opinion. You have to look at different aspects and take different components in different, methods and combine it into a treatment program for rehabilitation. Even in the educational system, the special education sector, they failed in a lot of ways by not looking at it that way. Taking the approach of using many different techniques, many different methods, and combining that together to develop a rehabilitation program or approach to that individual is what is needed. One thing is not going to make it. Maybe if you have, like, I don't know, diabetes or something, yeah, you take insulin. Okay, but we're talking about individuals with, major disabilities, Down syndrome, autism, Tourette's, developmental disabilities. They all have various needs. But like in my case, my two older sons, they have multiple different disabilities. ADHD, oppositional defiance disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, autism, developmental disabilities, just to name a few. So you have to look at the whole person. They just don't have one disability going on. They have like 6 or 7 going on, with the sensory input, you know. So you have to treat all of those. And that takes different methods.
Yeah.
So you have to approach it that way.
And can you share your experience how our technology and equipment can treat solve this problem? Like
Well, with the
using
sensory issues that they have, it helps calm them down. It helps them with their attention span. It helps them with, interacting and breaking down those barriers so they can learn and function and, feel like they have mastered, a task or learning something like, the math or, just various things that, the shapes or colors, that kind of thing, that they normally wouldn't because they wouldn't pay attention long enough to be able to do that. They are interacting with myself and my husband or their siblings where they used to not because they're autistic. They would be kind of in their own little world, their own little bubble. Now they're interacting with us when we're playing alongside them using the equipment. And that is very exciting to see that too. The language, my son Dustin, he's talking even more and, learning new words all the time and, having fun with that. So it has helped in so many different aspects that I've seen, and they get so excited when they've learned something new or they were able to do something, My son Dustin wasn't able to identify different shapes or the numbers or letters prior to using the interactive software, the floor and the wall and counting and things like that. So that's been really exciting to see him starting to visually recognize, oh, that's a green ball, oh, that's a green, or that's a red umbrella, just different things, And then counting, how many toy boxes are there, or how many teddy bears or whatever, I'm like, let's count them, and then he starts to count. He wasn't doing that before. Christopher, with math, learning how to do addition and subtraction, he couldn't do that before. Now through the games, he is. He's learning. He gets so excited every time he gets a star. That was really, really exciting.
awesome.
Andrew is paying attention and wanting to, interact and, like with how you could create with the sand table volcanoes and different things. And he's learning about, the volcanoes and the rainforest, and we're talking about it and, interacting in that way. So, he's really excited, and he loves the alive drawings because he's like, wants to be an architect and draw, and make things, design houses. I'm like, well, we could use this for that, with some of the templates you have that you provide where you can make your own sketches. And he loves that. He loves seeing them come to life and interact with them. So that was pretty exciting for him. If we could include, like, what I would love to see is if we could get some additional software that would be for like social studies and different academic stuff at different levels, that would be great because, or history or science or, like space exploration, things like that. That would, because he loves the space game on the mobile floor. That's one of his favorites. So,
It is our point. When I talked to you about combination medicine and IT technology,
right.
I was talking about this stuff, and that's why I want to work with
Yeah.
University of Miami.
And just see how if the technology can grow with the individual as they track their progress. But it would be great to see the technology, the software, as it tracks the individual's progress. It grows with them automatically and gets a little harder, where it goes from one level to the next.
Yeah.
And it challenges them, but doesn't make it too difficult where they can't,
It should
be,
different levels,
yeah,
different levels,
different levels.
step by step scaffolding.
Right. And sometimes they'll, regress a little bit, so they start back at the level that they were successful on. And as they gradually master each level, they get that sense of pride and accomplishment. And that is so important because everybody, I don't care who you are, whether you have some type of, disability, special needs, or you're just like us, everybody wants to feel a sense of accomplishment and pride in themselves. And that is worth so much,
Yeah. And can you share a few words how our equipment simplifies your life as a parent?
Well, I don't have to argue with them and fight with them as much to get them to want to learn or to interact with me. That's been huge. To have my children, my boys, now, even at their age, it was before they didn't want to spend time and interact with me, because they were in their own little bubble. They were in their own little world doing their own little thing. Now, when we do these activities and we use the equipment, it's time for us to do it together, to interact together, and it brings us together. And I'm not fighting with them, work in the workbooks, let's read a story, that kind of thing. And they hated that. They did not want anything to do with that. And I'd probably fight with them for a good 2 or 3 hours to get them to sit there for maybe 3 to 5 minutes. And then they were just done. No way. And I just wasted 3 hours arguing with them and trying to coach them to do it. I don't have to do that anymore. They want to do it. They look forward to do it. They enjoy doing it. And to see that they actually want to use the equipment, and I know they're learning, that means a lot. So that 3 hours I was wasting arguing with them can be spent doing other things and having more of a positive interaction with my children instead of a negative one where we're all frustrated. We're not doing that anymore.
All right. And can you describe your son's feeling when they first time saw this equipment and started playing on this equipment?
Excitement, accomplishment, this is fun, wow, come play with me. That was huge.
My God, it's awesome.
I mean, to hear my kids invite me to do something with them, to interact with them, that was the best feeling ever. To see them I did it, Mom. I did it. Look, Mom. Look. I mean, that was so amazing.
Yeah, and it supports, promotes for deaf men, It is very important for people. When you do something, when you won, and you get like kind of dopamine.
Yeah, and when they get that sense of pride when they, mastered a task on the game and they get that star, their face lights up
Hmm.
and they feel good about themselves. Like, I can do this. What else can I do? That that's just incredible. The biggest challenge is just worrying about them navigating through life, social acceptance, managing, their healthcare needs, their educational needs, their self-esteem. You know, are they gonna be able to be independent? Can they do things from themselves? Maybe not independent with living skills, like they're not gonna be able to cook their meals, do their laundry, that kind of thing, but independent with learning how to tell time, learning the concept of money and going to the store to buy themselves a snack and be able to give the cashier the appropriate amount of money and get the appropriate amount of money back, making sure you had enough money, those kind of things. Yeah, they could manage to do that in time with the help of your equipment and learning how to tell time, learning about math and money. That's where that is so important. I have struggled for many years, my oldest is 33, with not having the information, the technology, the assistance, the specialists to guide me, not knowing anybody that can mentor me that had gone through what I've gone through, being a mother of special needs children and raising them, worrying about, when they went to school, oh my gosh, are they going to be okay? You know, are they going to have a good day? Are they going to keep them at school? Because a lot of times they would call me and say, Mrs. Harris, you need to come and get your sons, by like 9 o'clock in the morning. So after they took a roll call, they just send them back home. So, they didn't really have that opportunity to really get a fair, education like every other parent's child would. So searching for ways to educate them myself. And I'm still doing that now. The frustration that there isn't enough knowledge, enough information available on how to deal with this, or feeling guilty like, I'm drained, I'm tired, I've been up for days. I'm trying to figure out ways to help them to improve their life, not knowing if I'm on the right track, am I doing the right thing, am I throwing my money away, am I just spinning my wheels? It's very difficult, especially when you live in a rural area and there's no information, there's no help, there's no services. Basically there's no technology out there that is available until I stumbled onto Kids Show Tech, which has been a game changer for myself as a mother and for my children, my entire family.
And how do you think why the existing approaches don't work? Because I know you have a wide experience and you tried a lot of stuff, a lot of systems, I think, and finally, it's
Because there's no one fits all. And that's the approach that everybody has taken. The difference between the products and equipment and software technology that is available to the general public and the educational system versus your companies is your company adapts to many different individuals in different levels. It's approachable and it makes it where, okay, you have a physical disability, we could adapt it to that with the pool noodles. You have a hearing problem, well, we'll adapt it and, or a speech problem or, even a visual problem. I mean, you can combine all the different methods into the technology, into your equipment, and it works because it's adaptable to everyone. It's not a one size fits all approach. That's the difference.
Got it.
And believe me, I've tried pretty much everything. Behavioral specialists, ABA approaches. I've tried every therapeutic approach out there. I really have. In my 33 years of parenting. And this doesn't, make hurt their self-esteem. It's not abrasive medical treatment with drugs or, surgeries or anything like that. It's safe. It's makes them feel good about themselves when they can accomplish things. It helps build their independence. It's just a really good approach all the way around for, you know, people that need this kind of thing.
Do you feel
I think
maybe?
with parents such as myself, we're also, often judged and, you know, everything that we do, we're like under a microscope. Everybody is scrutinizing everything you do. Like the doctors tell you to do one thing, the teachers want you to do something completely different, and the therapists that work with you are saying something opposite. You can't make everybody happy. Okay? You just can't, believe me. And you know your child, your family, and what works. You're the expert, not everybody else. And you got to find a balance. And you don't beat yourself up so hard. You might feel isolated and alone, but there's other parents out there that are going through the same stuff. So it's not you. You didn't do this. And, yeah, you're going to have good days and bad days. But the good days, those moments are bittersweet. They make everything better. And just remember, there's always tomorrow. Yeah, you might have had a bad day. You might have snapped at your kids. You might have got frustrated. You're human. Give yourself some slack. And know that you're the one that is the expert on your children and what your family needs. Go with your gut instinct and know that no one loves your children and your family as much as you guys do.
Yeah.
And you'll be fine. Stop beating yourself up. Stop sucking gutsing yourself. And stop trying to please everybody. Because you're not going to please everybody. It's impossible. At the end of the day, you have to know that you've done a good job. And it's all going to work out. And reach out. Find support groups for, people with families that deal with special needs. Communicate with other parents that are in the same boat with your kids in the classroom. There's other parents with kids with special needs in your child's classroom. The schools will discourage it, believe me. They don't want the parents talking to each other. But they can't stop you from, communicating with each other, providing a support system, Just do what you can. And know that, there are people out there that do care, such as your company, Kids Jump Tech, and the things that you're doing will have a positive impact on families like mine going forward. Once, other parents find out about this and they have it available to them, it's accessible, it's going to make a huge difference. Like I said, watching the boys say, come play with us, Mom. I cried. Like, you know, Dustin, recognizing the letters, the alphabet, you know, and shapes and colors. Christopher doing the arithmetic, adding and subtracting. I didn't think that was going to happen. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. Just watching them feel so, like they accomplished something. They did it, and they felt good about themselves, and they want to do more because of it. Those simple little things it means the world to me. With my boys and my whole world. And I am so, so lucky to be blessed with my wonderful boys and have the privilege of raising them and being their mom. I couldn't be prouder of them.
Thank you, Ruby. Thank you. We needed this conversation because I believe we have a big, big journey, and I believe that we can make a difference together.
I believe it as well, because like I said before, when I started communicating with John and found Kids Jump Tech, I was skeptical. I was like, okay, this is a lot of money. Is this just a waste of money? Is this going to work? I was worried. And I took a chance, and I am so glad I did. It was probably one of the better choices I'd made for my family. And I told John, I'm like, if this is possible, if this equipment, this technology can do all the things that you say, that is gonna be such a blessing to my boys. I'm like, and your company will go far because there's a need for this. And I really still believe that there is a need for this. And how many families, how many lives you're gonna be touching. You're gonna make a big difference, a big impact in the world. And I really am grateful and thankful that you guys are doing this. It means a lot, not only to my family, but for other families.
We'll do our best, we promise.
Definitely, Ruby. Thank you so much for everything. So this is a life, and all people in your life, not just for the air. Everything just step by step. You move somewhere where you have to be, and maybe at the last point, I don't know. We don't know what kind of product we'll produce and everything. So
Yeah, I have some
step by
great
step together,
hopes and expectations for you guys. And I know that everything happens for a reason. I believe that. And meeting you, and so I touched your life, you're touching other people's lives. And
This is just a connection,
it's a full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And being part of this journey, I really, really feel grateful and blessed to be
Be
part
at
of it.
the starting point, at the beginning,
I can't wait to see where it goes. It's going to be a great journey.
We
Yeah.
have thing-
That's why I was telling you about my experience. My boys, they're interacting with one another. They're interacting with their father and I. That's not
Yeah.
the way it used to be. I don't have to beg and plead them and get frustrated because they won't come out of their little bubble. That right there, the first time that happens, that's incredible. That means, I think that was like one of the top 10 like moments for me with my boys.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Really, that's
It doesn't matter about their abilities or inabilities. They're still children.
definitely
And
100%.
they're still individuals. They have self-worth. They're somebody. They're not a burden on society. They're wonderful individuals. And when you guys get frustrated, you hit a, difficult point when, things aren't going as quickly or smoothly during this journey, just think back on our conversation to give you that push that you need to get to the other side. Because it's not easy. I know it's not. You have to go through a lot of hurdles, and it's going to be frustrating, like you're up against a brick wall, and, you're fighting to get that done, and, there's a lot of red tape or financial issues or what have you. But think back on our conversation. Think back about why you're doing this. Write a mission statement for yourselves to remind you when you're having a difficult time, a rough patch, and that'll get you through. That's what I do a lot of times. I write down, my blessings and what I am grateful for and my hopes for the boys. And it's a reminder when I'm having a difficult time. I'm frustrated because I can't find a doctor, or the insurance isn't paying for the medication, or, my son's having a meltdown or something. I look back at that and it gets me through. So, well, I appreciate you guys, I really do. And what you're doing is incredible.
And I appreciate it too.
I have a lot of respect for you guys for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're gonna make a big, huge impact on the world, and the difference in the quality of these individuals' lives and their families. And that means a lot. You might not hear it from those families, you might never meet them, but know that they're grateful for this.